Good evening, CLC. My name is Naomi Feda. Thank you so much for joining me here this evening. So, as you know, we have been going through a series, Who I Am in Christ, because just remembering that our identity in Him is so central to who we are, to the core of our being, that we act out of what we believe in our hearts. You know, those words that may have been spoken over you as a child, or may have become ingrained in you throughout your years. Remember, we don't live out of what other people have said over us. We live out of what Christ says about us, who He says that we are. And so this week we are talking about how He calls us holy. So I'm going to open in Ephesians 1 verse 4, of course. And you know, as I was thinking about holy, I do think that maybe in the culture of the Bible, holiness was a little bit easier to understand in terms of the temple and, you know, all of those things. If you read through the Old Testament, there's so much about holiness, you know, entering the Holy of Holies. And so their religious culture was filled with a lot of rituals that focused on holiness, I might say, or practices, as well as just that sense of that the building was holy. And so perhaps in our Christian Protestant religion, it isn't so much of a central focus of our everyday outworking of our faith or our faith practices in church to have this sense of holiness or of awe in the sacred. Which, you know, there are some pros and cons to that, because you know, sometimes when I think of holiness, I forget that aspect of it, and that awestruck or that deep reverence that the especially in the Old Testament, as I was saying, the Jewish faith had in terms of their religious practices on a weekly basis. So let's, as I'm talking and not turning the pages, Ephesians 1 verse 4, it says, even before He made the world, God loved us and chose us in Christ to be holy without fault in His eyes. And, you know, as I continued thinking over this holiness, I did go to Webster's dictionary, because that's everybody's favorite. And one definition is devoted entirely to the deity or the work of this deity. But, you know, one thing that came to me as I was pondering it was, like, for instance, in some other faiths, like Roman Catholic, like, there's like holy water. And you think about how holy water is separate, then it's not what you get out of the faucet. Now, meaning in their practices, holy water is set apart. And so thinking of ourselves or how He has set us apart, like, we're different, we're not ordinary, we're set apart, we're devoted for His purposes. And now He's saying this about us. And when you think about yourself, what is it you think? Do you think that you're set apart, or are you looking at yourself thinking that you're just ordinary? But God says He's chosen you to be holy. Another one of my favorite verses on holiness is 1 Peter 2 verse 9. Yes, verse 9. But you are not like that, for you are a chosen people, you are royal priests, a holy nation, God's very own possession. As a result, you can show others the goodness of God, for He called you out of the darkness into His wonderful light. And just he's called you as royal priests, as a holy nation. So this group of people that he has put together, a holiness. And so we just take time to meditate on the wonder of what holy is, and bring it back to that, because to be called holy when we know that we have sinned, we have done things that are bad, by all means, none of us feel like we have reached a level of perfection, and yet God still says, you are holy. You're my holy nation, my royal priesthood. You are holy. So if you're in Christ, you are holy. God bless you, and look forward to seeing you again next week. Be sure to check us out in person at 20 West Main Street in Catskill, meeting at 10:30 on Sunday mornings. We'd love to see you there.